had 2 purple casts on my legs that scaled from my toes just below my knees. I was the obvious oddity. On that first day of kindergarten, I got so many questions surrounding my casts, the kinky curls of my hair, and the largeness of my eyes. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Joy, and over here we talk about dental school, getting you into dental school, and anything else that comes to mind. I'm not quite sure yet, but I thank you all for being here. Please like and subscribe this video, that would really help me out. And without further ado, let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about your essays, your personal statement, and whatever other essays they ask for on your application. So the first thing you want to do is pick a theme. Now, this is not something that you have to just come up with off the top of your head. You should look through your application and see what keeps on coming up. Do you volunteer a lot with kids? Are your leadership positions all of the same flavor, or what? Your theme may be service, world domination, perfection, imperfection. Is it art? There should be something that keeps on coming up. For me, that was travel and service to my community. I mean, that was the kind of volunteer work that I did. I was actually writing my essays while studying abroad in Spain, and I used that in my essays just to drive home the fact that I am focused on global health. You will use this theme to drive home exactly why you will make a great dentist. Next is the storytelling element. Once you figure out what you want to talk about, I would go ahead and write an outline of different points and different moments in your life that have pointed to why dentistry. Now, when you do this, you have to start telling a story. You want something poetic and engaging. You want to make the admissions committee fall in love with you through your writing, because they've already seen the rest of your essay, they know the stats, they know the numbers, but what is it about you that makes you special? This is your time, this is your story, let's tell it well. So during the story, you're going to tell why dentistry is important to you. How did you fall into it? Did you fall into it? Were you directed into it? But however you do this, whatever the reason is, it needs to be eloquent. Also, when you're explaining why dentistry, you want to explain what will you do for dentistry and what dentistry will do for you. In your essays, you can also explain away any little blemishes on your application, in your grades, or on your DAT scores maybe. Why are there W's or C's, and why you had to retake a class. It's really all explainable in your essays, and if you do it tactfully, there should be no issue. Ooh, you can also explain how you recovered from those dips and trials and tribulations in your career too. Okay, now we're going to get into the overused narratives. These are cliches that everybody writes about, or the admissions committee has read a million times, and it's a little stale, it's a little outdated, and I think you can do better in your essay. So first is going to be the braces story. I had terrible teeth as a kid, and I got braces, and it changed my life. Congratulations, I'm very happy for you, but a lot of people have that story, and I think you can come up with something better. I just do. Another story is, my parent is a dentist and I want to be just like them. I see how they have changed lives and I want to be that person. I want to do the same thing. Lots of people have parents that are dentists. I do too, and I made sure not to emphasize that on my essay. I did mention it, and I did say how it played into my choice to attend dental school, but it's not going to be the sole focus of why I'm writing. Another story is that I've always loved dentistry. I mean, as true as it may be, it's not interesting. So yeah, please stay away from those cliches and think of something better. The next point is that you need to get feedback from everybody. You need to give it to your parents, you need to give it to English teachers, you need to give it to, maybe send it to the dentist that you shadowed. If you have a sister who is great at writing, email it to her and keep bothering her until she edits it for you. These people are going to look over your essay, they're going to read typos, they're going to make suggestions about how you can make your essay better, what parts that they liked, they didn't like, and it's just a really great method of improving your essay, because when you read over it over and over again, your eyes get blind to the issues and the typos, and maybe if you overuse a certain word, you really need to have other people look at it, and it's really going to help you out. Another point is that get on thesaurus.com and make your writing a little bit more interesting. You don't want to use a lot of the same word. Is it interesting or is it intriguing? Did you lean toward or did you gravitate toward it? When you're documenting your experiences, you want it to feel like a world-class writer wrote it. So get on thesaurus.com, maybe do some reading just on the internet about how to write essays, because we as pre-dental majors, we haven't really had to write too many essays. We took, 2 English classes freshman year, and that's it. So maybe brush up on your writing skills, read about different transitions that you can do to make your writing better. Another thing you want to do when you're writing your essays is to be real, okay? No sob stories that don't exist. If you do have a sob story, tell it and tell it well. But if you do not have one, don't try and make one up. For me, I have a parent who's a dentist, and so that doesn't really equal a sob story in my life. And I'm grateful, but I made sure to emphasize that I had access to dental care. I thought it was the norm for everybody. But then I grew up and I realized everybody doesn't get this. So in my essay, I wrote about how I want to make dentistry accessible, and I want my norm to be everybody's norm. And last but not least, actually last but most important, brag on yourself. This is your application, as I've already mentioned in my other video. If you haven't already watched that, go ahead and check it out. But this is your story that paints the most beautiful picture of you, and make sure to tell it well. So now I'm going to read some excerpts from my essay because I got complimented on them from the admissions committee at a couple of different schools, and I just think they were great. My sister helped me out, but here we go. I'll just give you some examples. I learned very early in life to be comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable. When I was 6 years old, my mother enrolled me in a top private school in Houston, where I was the only black girl in my class. On top of that, I had 2 purple casts on my legs that scaled from my toes just below my knees. I was the obvious oddity. On that first day of kindergarten, I got so many questions surrounding my cast, the kinky curls of my hair, and the largeness of my eyes. Even though I answered every blue-eyed question, a large part of my inner 6-year-old self found the kids and their queries annoying. Why couldn't these people just let me sit in class in peace? Looking back, I now understand their genuine curiosity. When people are different from you, you want to understand why. Initially, I knew it was going to cost me approximately 25 hours of my school week during the off-season to train, but I thought that would be nothing considering how much free time I had anyway. I was so wrong. On top of countless hours spent in the gym, my body needed an immense amount of rest to function during the school day. Adjusting to that kind of schedule is no small feat, and I don't think I actually mastered it until my final semester of collegiate volleyball. Volleyball forced me to budget my time and give extra attention to subjects that didn't come naturally to me, like organic chemistry. Despite the struggles I endured to become part of Howard's volleyball team, I wouldn't trade a minute of it for the world. Somehow in all the chaos, I gained the most amazing friends, tremendous respect for my body and its capabilities, and 2 NCAA tournament appearances to top it all off. I think the most important lesson I learned was the value of hard work and its potential results. In my youth, one particular waiting room was as familiar to me as the warm yellow walls of my childhood bedroom. The gray chairs with their gentle bouts, the children's books and gardening magazines stacked high, the worried mothers in their Sunday jewelry. These were all routine in my coming of age. If you're still watching by this point, drop a notepad emoji in the comment section. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and press that subscribe button. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you learned something. Bye!